Cancer. Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and this is going to be a general reading for June 2025. And in today's reading, we're going to be doing a spread that I've done before, and it's called Moving Beyond Illusion. And it's about a picture that my daughter sent to me a while back. And in the picture, there was sent me the picture of the dragonfly, and I thought it was fake. And I thought it was some toy that was sitting on a telephone pole that she's standing by, and she said, no, it's real. And I didn't believe it because of the pearly eyes. And so I told her to touch it, and she said, ew, no way. And so that I knew that right away that she wasn't lying. And so to me it was like, okay, this dragonfly is telling me something, and it's like, what's it trying to say to me? And I knew that it was something about myself that I was believing was true, and it wasn't. And so I thought this would make a great reading for tarot. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at what false idea or belief system do you have about yourself that you need to become aware of, first of all. And then we're going to look at, where's this come from? Like, what shadow aspect is driving or impacting this illusion? Because our shadow is our unconscious. And it's all those things that we've put away, shoved down because we don't want to look at, because we've been told, we've been shamed when we were younger. It can be emotions or trauma, memories. And that lives in our shadow. It lives in our unconscious. And it continues to have the most impact, and it manifests actually the majority of all our external belief systems, our patterns, our cycles. It's what drives our life. We tend to think that it's what's happening right now is what we're consciously aware of, but it's actually, or because of what we're consciously aware of, but it's actually our unconscious. So we're going to look at what's driving this false belief that you have about yourself. And then we're going to ask the tarot to show you how you can begin to heal this, because oftentimes people want to know, well, okay, I'm going to point it out for you, but I won't leave you hanging, because the tarot is going to say, okay, how can you start to heal this? Like, what is it exactly do you need to work on? And then I will suggest a video from Carol Cares, my other channel. And on that channel, I have a lot of videos for self-help, kind of how to heal, right? Because I'm on my own intensive healing journey. It's been 8 years now that I've been on it. So on my own healing journey. So for this reading, we're going to be using the Curious Travels Tarot deck. I'm going to use that to clarify, actually. And then I'm going to use, first going to pull out some Deviant Moon Tarot cards. And these are very imaginative, these two decks. I'm called to use this, So we're going to see how that works out. And then I'm going to pull a Return of Spirit card for you. It's an oracle card, and we'll look at that at the end, but I'll pull it at the beginning. So let's begin with the Deviant Moon Tarot. I'm going to ask for one card for what false idea or belief does Cancer need to become aware of this month in June. One card. One card for false belief that Cancer has about themselves. Ooh, that one come out. You have the Ace of Swords in reverse. I think that's come out. This is the third time. The last two readings. Now this reading, that card's come out. Not in the same position, but it's fascinating. It's come out. What shadow aspect is driving or impacting this illusion? So what's the shadow aspect? Okay, the Moon in reverse. And how can Cancer begin to heal the shadow aspect in order to move on? What do they need to do here? How can they begin to heal this? One card, please. the High Priestess. Move these over here. Okay, let's clarify these. I have the Ace of Swords. Can I have 2 cards? Tell me some more about the Ace of Swords. Whoa, whoa. These cards usually come out a lot easier. You have the World card in reverse and the Ace of Swords in reverse. That's fascinating. So, when we get into the Ace of Swords, I'm really going to focus on that. I'm wondering if I might want to pull another card. I'm just going to pull one more card here for you. Because you have 2 Ace of Swords, I just want one quick card here for you. And the Rider-Waite, just to clarify this. Give me a little bit more information. I'd like to clarify with another deck. 6 of Wands. Okay. That'll give me a bit more. The Moon card. A couple cards for that. 1. Some decks cards come out more easy. This one, they do. They usually spit out, and that's why I thought, oh, I gotta be careful. Okay. Interesting. Oh, no, I got 6 of Cups, not 6 of Wands. All right, so King of Cups in reverse, and the 6 of Cups in reverse, and the Page of Pentacles. High Priestess. A couple cards for that. Tell me some more about the High Priestess here. Okay. You have the Page of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. And I'm going to pick your Return of Spirit Oracle card, and we will look at that at the end. There we go. Oh, there's 2 of them. Okay. I think I'll just pick the top one and bury it. All right. So, Cancer. We're going to start off with the Ace of Swords that shows up twice in this first part. So, there's a real focus on this for sure, and it's the false belief or idea about yourself you need to become aware of. So let's talk about sword energy first of all. And the sword energy is our mental thoughts, our mental belief system. So imagine all those things that you've been told about who you are that have formed you, and you continue usually to spin on those things that we were told when we were younger, right? This is who I am, and it's kind of that we all kind of know if we had to describe ourselves or how we feel about ourselves. It's a repetition usually that will go on our head and say things, and it's like we hear these messages every once in a while. But the sword by itself is like an offer from the universe. It's like a gift from the universe. It's the gift of the sword that's going to cut through all that bullshit that you've been told when you were younger, because you continue to believe it, right? So it's that sword. But for some reason here, so it's really the sword of authenticity, the sword of truth. But for some reason here, there's a fear on your part to take that sword up. There's a fear of looking at, okay, if I take this sword and start to look at this bullshit, that means I got to look at my stuff, right? I got to dig deep. I got to go inwards. I got to start looking at my stuff. There's a real fear or a resistance on your part for doing that. And it was clarified with the Ace of Swords again. And so there's definitely the authentic you, Cancer, is buried underneath all this bullshit that you've been believing all your life. And so you have the World card that comes out. It's the first card underneath here. And the World card is a card, I sort of look at it as a card that, I mean, it's the last card in the major arcana. It just brings awareness to everything. It brings closure to everything. And there's a real need for you to bring closure to this, to bring awareness to this. But that is in reverse as well. And so this really tells me that this whole idea of you actually, you know, thinking about, well, let's start looking at this or bringing some closure to it, or even opening it up to find out who the real you is. There's just no way. It's like you've closed it up, and there's this real fear here, resistance to doing it. And for what, and you know, that's why I was looking for another card here. I thought, can you give me another card? Like, what's really going on here with Cancer? Why won't they do this? I mean, what's the final word here? Like, what's the belief system they have? Well, the Six of Wands came up, and the six of my deck has, all my sixes have a duality to it. There's another six here coming up, Six of Cups, and it'll have a duality as well. And so the duality here, the two parts, the two sides of this card is on the outside. This individual's coming back from a battle, and he has the victory wreath going on, hanging on one of his wands, and he's got something on his head, a victory wreath. Wands is about, you know, going in the direction that our purposeful direction where we were supposed to go. Wands are very much creative energy. They want us to go towards our true self, our authentic self, right? And sometimes being creative is just putting yourself forward, right? So so this on the outside looks like, oh, this is a victory card. And most readers will say this is a victory card. But for me, sixes have a duality to it. And if you were to pull that green blanket off of that horse, it's going to show you what the other side to victory is. And that's loss. There's a real loss here in this card. I think there's something, and oftentimes there's a lot of grieving that has to be done. And so I think you may know that. Like, I think there's a real loss here because your true authentic self has not come out. It needs to come out. And there's some real healing that needs to be done, I'm going to say. There's some real grieving that needs to be done. And we're going to look at right now why, like, maybe it'll explain some of this loss, what this feeling of loss is that, you know, and we need to grieve that. And so we're going to look at, you know, what is it? What did you lose? Or what happened to you? What's sitting in your shadow that you need to heal? That's going to take you to this grief. And that's going to take you, you know, into the direction that you need to go into to start cutting through this bullshit of finding out, you know, where's the real you? It was lost when you were younger. You start off with the Moon card, and it's in reverse. The Moon card speaks about these almost like these puppet figures that have come out. Look at the moon. It's very fascinating how the moon controls. The moon is controlling these characters, these marionettes, and because when the moon comes out, it seems to bring out things that are hidden, right? Things that we normally wouldn't see. Moon goes away, these puppets will go away. And the moon talks about things that are hidden, and it's in reverse here. And so there is a real fear or a resistance to going into your shadow, to uncovering your, you know, what's in your unconscious, to do the healing that you're needing to do. Because there's things in there that are hidden that you are not aware of. And it's those things that are hidden that are causing you all this fear. And it's those things that are hidden that are actually covering, like in layers, the real you, which is buried underneath that. And that's why we need to heal. Because sitting in our shadow is the real us. And until we get in there and start scraping away at it to find out, scraping away at all this bullshit that people told us when we were younger, and we find out who we really are, the real us. And so let's look at the 3 cards here that's going to explain, you know, what's hidden and why maybe. So you have the King here that comes out first of all. It's the King of Cups. And the King in my deck represents our ego, our masculine side. We have a masculine side and we also have a feminine side. The feminine side is going to come out with the High Priestess right here. And so we'll talk about her in a minute. We all have a masculine and feminine side. Has nothing to do with our gender. Now the masculine side, like I said, is our ego. And in particular, this is the King of Cups. King of emotions. Yeah. So the ego self, our ego self, absolutely hates emotions. And if I had to pick one emotion out of all of them, I mean, the ego self is scared of all of them, wants nothing to do with emotions. If I had to pick one that it's absolutely petrified of, that there's no way it wants to go near, it's grief. It's this one right here. And so your ego self is sitting here in your unconscious. It is making sure that it's holding down all of your emotions when you were younger. I'm going to say that there's something that's hidden here that you were not allowed to have your emotions. And what happens when we were younger, or you had some big emotions, because of something that's hidden here. This could be memories, this could be trauma, and underneath it is all the emotions that are connected to it that we need to feel. But when things happen to us when we were younger, and we all have trauma, I don't care who you are, on a continuum. You can have, you know, some trauma, and you can have a hell of a lot of trauma. And but when we're younger and things happen to us, traumatic events happen to us, and when we can't handle these big emotions, and we just don't have the ability, the capability to feel these big emotions, right? We know black and white, but anything in between, and if it's big, you know, that we don't understand it, well, the ego, that's where our ego self kicks in. It's a protector part, and it will take you out of your body, because that's where your emotions are when you're younger. It'll pull you out of your body and into your head, because when you're in your head, you don't feel these emotions. And so you push these emotions down and you keep them in your body. Emotions stay in our body. And so this controller part has definitely made sure that you held on to those emotions when you were younger and you didn't feel them. There was something associated with whatever happened to you when you were younger, and you have completely shut down. And if we shut down and if we stay up in our head all the time, we're in our ego self. We're not in our true self. We oftentimes think that our ego is our true self, but it's not. It'll pretend, it'll fool us, because it still thinks we're a kid. It doesn't know that we're an adult now. We have to train it. And so your authentic self, the real you, is buried under all of this, I'm going to say, trauma or these memories that you need to get to. And then you have 2 significant cards, and I'm going to talk about them together, because when your ego self, when you're younger, pulls you out of your body and pulls you up into your head because it doesn't want you to feel these emotions because you can't feel them. It's a protector part. It'll protect you, and that's why it's petrified of emotions. You have younger parts of yourself called inner children. You have 2 inner children cards here. You have the Page of Pentacles. Pages in my deck are inner children. And then you have the 6 of Cups. And the 6 of Cups is also an inner child card. And I said that this one has a duality to it, the 6 of Cups, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this Page of Cups right here, this Page of Pentacles, this inner child, is the page that used to be, that knows around 4, 5, 6 years old, knows what it means to be in their body. The pentacle itself is the body. It has everything to do with grounding, being grounded in your body, you know, knowing who you are. You knew who you were. You were in your body when you were younger. I'm going to say around 4, 5, 6 years old, you knew. but something happened when, like I said, and it pulled you out of your body. And so you have this inner part of you. And when an inner child part comes up in my reading, it's a part that needs to be healed. It needs to be listened to. It needs to be heard. And we have to feel their pain. We have to feel their grief that you would have felt, that you have buried here. And we need to feel that for them, because we're an adult now, and that's what we're meant to do. We feel the emotions that these parts couldn't feel when they were younger. And then you have the Six of Cups right behind it, which is another inner child card. We can have more than one inner child. I know mainstream psychology likes to say we just have one, but I've been on my own intensive healing journey for 8 years now. And I know I have more than one inner child. And this inner child is the one of Cups, and Cups is all about emotions. And it's the number 6, so it's got a giving and receiving. You have 2 children here that are exchanging cups here with each other, and giving each other a cup. And so it's this whole thing about giving and receiving, and learning how to give and learning how to receive. And I think that you didn't get that when you were younger, right? That whole thing about learning. I mean, if we grow up always giving to people, it is because we didn't learn how to receive. And if we grow up always take from people, it's because we don't know how to give. So we didn't learn one or the other. And so this is the young another young part of you that needs to heal that. And so you definitely have parts here that are coming out, younger inner children parts that need to be healed. They have these emotions that you have around whatever it is that's hidden with this moon card, but you have your ego self that's blocking these emotions when it's protecting you when you're younger. And so it continues to do the same thing right now. It's protecting you. It's not wanting you to go towards your authenticity, because in order for you to go towards your authenticity, that means you're going to have to feel. You're going to have to feel this grief of being blocked when you were younger, this grief from whatever this memory is, or memories or trauma when you were younger. And so where do you begin? This sounds really heavy, and it is. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. You have inner children that are wanting you to really connect to them. I connect to my inner children through my journaling. I talk to them all the time, and they talk back, and they tell me what they need and what they want. I'll leave you with a journaling playlist at the end. Is the one thing I'm going to leave you with. And I probably will leave you with the grounding playlist as well, because you need to get back in your body and learn what it means to get back in our body. And the reason why I say you need to learn to get back in your body, because the number 1 card here that's come up for you as how you can start to heal this is the High Priestess card. And so the universe wants you to get in touch with your High Priestess. What is the High Priestess? Well, the High Priestess is in the Major Arcana. It is the first half of the feminine archetype, or the feminine energy in the Major Arcana. The second half is the Empress. And so the High Priestess talks about, people are just absolutely, if you look at her, if you want to, she's kind of like a protector. It looks like she's protecting these gates right here. And she looks kind of scary. It's like you don't want to go there. You're scared to go there. I think people, when they hear that word intuition, they don't really know what it means. They don't know if they have access to it. They don't know how to get in touch with it. Every single one of us on this planet has intuition. And we all have access to it. It's not something that's granted to only certain people, and other people don't have it. It's everybody has it. It's a beautiful feminine quality that's been buried for years. Has nothing to do with your gender. Everybody has intuition. They just don't know how to access it. And you have to be in your body to access it. You're not intuitive from this place. You have some people that call themselves, they're intuitive, but it's not coming from here. But for them, maybe it is, but it comes from here. To be truly intuitive, you're in your body, because intuition is like that quiet whisper. It's your inner guidance. It's not loud. It's not like something that's desperate, like I got to do this now, or I got to do this tomorrow. It's quiet. It's very quiet, very subtle, It'll repeat itself. It'll come up and it might go away. It'll keep coming back. That's your intuition. And in order to get in touch with that, because there's some real inner guidance here, you need to get in touch with your own inner guidance. You need to get into your body, and that's where the grounding comes. And you have a page, another page that shows up here. So this card is really, I'm going to say for you, it's a real healing card of your inner children. This one is your Page of Swords this time. And no surprise, we talked about your Ace of Swords coming out twice here, and that is that sort of your authenticity, your sort of cutting through that bullshit, your truth of who you are. And it's an offer to get there, to use that sword. Well, here's the page. Here's your inner child that held that knew who they were, who you were when you were younger, 4, 5, 6 years old. You knew, here's the sort of authenticity, truth. You knew who you were when you were younger. But that was buried underneath this moon card. Your authentic self is buried. And there's a lot of grief behind that. When your true self is buried when you were younger, right? When all your emotions were shut down. I mean, you shut down your emotions, you shut down you. You don't matter anymore. And that child needs to be healed as well. Needs to be listened to. And they need to be heard. And you need to grieve. And talk about their fears and their shame and all the other emotions they hold. And then the final card here is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I love this card for the Three of Pentacles. In an upright position, because this is a healing channel, the number 3 talks about a co-creation, doing something with someone else and getting help. For me, this represents my therapy card. And I love this because this represents a different modality here for me. When people think of therapy, they just think of that, the behavior stuff where they got to go and learn how to change their behavior or go back. And maybe you've been in therapy before and it didn't work, or maybe you've never tried it. I always think it's fascinating when I hear people that have never had, a day of a session ever in their life. And I'm like, wow, how do you do that? I've spent 8 years intensively of healing, had a shit ton of trauma. And I can't imagine my life not having therapy. But I've tried different therapists for sure. And I've also tried different modalities. Like I would love to have a healing session with dolphins. And I know that happens where, dolphins are very smart. And so there's something sonic about them, how they have these sonic something, and they actually go around your head and they can actually help you to heal. And I've done a lot of body work, craniosacral, some Reiki, myofascial release with not with my therapist, but I had that. And then I'd go to my therapist and we would talk about what happened. You really need a therapist if you're going to do some body work. And so this is actually a card that's maybe asking you, maybe you can explore different kinds of therapies that you haven't done before. And that's what I did. When I learned, I didn't know about body work. I knew nothing about that until somebody I was seeing for something else did some. And I thought, I'm going to try this. I don't know what it is. And I asked my therapist about it. So there's some real call for some healing, inner children healing here. So I'll leave you with the 2 playlists I said I would give you on grounding and journaling. And just don't forget, I want to read what I have for you here. And it's called Right Order. Page 80. Here we go. So, last little bit here. Right order. Eventually, everything finds its right place and proper order in life. This card is about creating proper order in your physical environment. The world around us has a very strong effect on our emotional and energetic well-being. Often, our inner environment is symbolically reflected through our outer environment. It's time to put things in their proper place and create right order in your physical world. Roll up your sleeves and take a weekend to begin cleaning out the closets. Start to sort what you would like to keep and what needs to go. Take care of any paperwork, banking, or bookkeeping you may have been putting off for later. Tidy your garage or storage spaces. Rearrange one of your rooms. Vacuum the blinds or dust in the corners. Take a serious look at any space or job you think you may have neglected. It's time to give your physical space an energetic shift. So the very act of organizing our clutter is a powerful way to symbolically cleanse and clean out our inner emotional and energetic closet. Fascinating. It sends a powerful message out to the cosmos that you are ready to take care of business. Willing to do whatever needs to be done. Open to allowing the new to flow in your life. Get ready to release stagnant energy and old emotional patterns. The new is on its way in. You will feel lighter, free of old burdens, and more accepting of what spirit brings your way. By putting your physical space in its right, proper order, you are doing the same for your inner space too. You might find yourself quite surprised and delighted with the results. That's fascinating because I just heard this reading today. I don't know if any of you follow a man named Lee Harris online, but he was talking about this month that this is about organizing your physical space. He said the exact words about organizing your your space. And start doing that, cleaning out closets or whatever. And that's kind of like, it just gives you this sense of cleaning out your stuff. And I know one thing I've done before in the past is to get rid of some things. And that is so hard to do. But once you've done it, I mean, you grieve it. You know, sometimes I remember having a garage sale once. And it just hurt me to get rid of my stuff. And then when I did, I felt so guilty about getting rid of it. But then eventually that guilt gets replaced by something new. And it, like I said, it shows the universe that you are interested. You know, you want something to come in, and things start to come in. You put the sign out there and things are going to shift. So take care, Cancer, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye-bye.